Tonight, you will be the victim of a nuclear attack by the Russians. Half an hour after this sneak attack, America will be on its knees.
If you grew up in the Cold War era, the threat of nuclear bombs and radioactive fallout were probably an accepted part of life. Something you knew was possible, even if unlikely to ever happen. Well, many of those threats ended with the thawing of US and Russian relations in the 90s. The danger is very much still there. Only now, it could also be in the hands of much smaller players, less predictable enemies. It's a concern that has the U.S. Department of Defense turning to my alma mater, the University of Nebraska, to find an answer for a problem with which they hope they never have to deal.
Okay, elevated readings. What are your readings then?
For many folks, maybe most, the thought of a dirty bomb sounds like something straight out of a Tom Clancy novel, which it is. But it's also something that, in the hands of the wrong people, poses a very real threat to not only Americans, but places of American interest all across the globe. Mix in the potential for a nuclear accident or a nuclear weapons incident, and you have the need for something that can protect those whose job is defined by heading straight into harm's way.
When you think about the threats that our military personnel could face anywhere around the world in any scenario, and we have a very interesting world around us, whether it's Ukraine, the Middle East, whatever it is, we have to be thinking about the threats that could be coming down the road in the future, along with today's threats. And so one of the things that is out there is potential exposure to radiation.
That's where the work of some very talented people at the University of Nebraska and the University of Nebraska Medical Center comes in. They are part of a collaborative effort with the National Strategic Research Institute, or NSRI, to create a medicine that would prevent or at least reduce the effects of acute radiation syndrome, or ARS. Symptoms of ARS include all the classics: burning sensations on the skin, diarrhea, maybe death. And the threat is far more than hypothetical. In October, a Houston police officer carrying something similar to a Geiger counter found some cesium-137, a radioactive material that was improperly disposed of in a Houston scrapyard, leaving key ingredients to a dirty bomb just lying around is the kind of mistake that would lead to a very big problem if the wrong people found out, especially in large metropolitan areas.
If they're going to go in harm's way, if they're going to go into a situation where there's radioactivity, they could take this drug and be protected in part from the radiation exposure.
So when the government looked at that problem in there, how do we protect service members we might put into harm's way from exposure to a threat, in this case radiation, and allow them to accomplish their mission and then come home to their families? So this type of project is really focused on protecting our service members from a threat that they could be exposed to on a really bad day.
In September of 2023, the Defense Health Agency awarded a $24.5 million contract to NSRI, the DoD University-affiliated Research Center of U.S. Strategic Command, and the University of Nebraska system.
I usually phrase it as that, we are trying to use our research to be able to protect from damage due to radiation. And so, if that's in the context of being an accidental radiation exposure or having, some type of, military catastrophe, we're trying to make it so that we have things in place so that people can be protected if they have to go into a situation.
Cases are rare, but effects of ARS and its punishing aftermath can be found in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, as well as the Chernobyl nuclear power plant disaster in 1986. But there are more recent examples of potential dangers. Last October, for instance, Russia's defense minister told his counterparts in the UK, France, and the US that he believed Ukraine could be prepping a dirty bomb for use against Russia. Ukraine responded by calling the allegations transparently false. But it is the kind of situation that makes people stop and think, what if? That's why, in part, the research team in Nebraska turned to Dr. Tomas Helikar and his use of computational systems biology, essentially using a digital patient in place of a real one.
I wanted to be a scientist to make a difference, and this project enables me to do that because we're going from, in our case, from computer models all the way, hopefully, to use of the medications that we develop by soldiers. Being able to contribute to a project that has this translational impact in my lifetime. I don't have to wait 20 years for somebody to discover our science and do something with it. We will be able to, at this university, we'll be able to, and the university system will be able to really scale that up and apply that to other diseases.
While the Defense Health Agency is looking out primarily for those service members who would be in harm's way, the research will yield benefits for civilians as well.
Anything that we can do in our lab to help make somebody's life better is a win for me, and so that's our goal as researchers. And so, if we can help, protect our military servicemen, that is wonderful. If we can help protect cancer patients, that's wonderful. I mean, so we're really that's why I'm in this business, is because I want to help people and use our knowledge on the science to be able to make other people's lives better in the future.
For those involved, the collaborative nature of the work is a huge motivating factor as they continue to put the pieces in place that they hope will one day protect service members and patients alike.
Fundamentally, I think as Midwesterners, we just collaborate well. We work well together. I think what we're offering and what we've developed honestly could have been developed at a lot of other institutions. What makes us unique is that we brought all this talent together to a common mission.
Together we can do much bigger science than alone. And we have about half of our researchers in Lincoln and half in Omaha. We meet regularly. Samples get passed back and forth. Students work together. It's powerful, powerful.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the scientists and researchers at the University of Nebraska for helping me bring you this story. For more on this, please head over to san.com.